Heather here with Heather's Country Crochet. So this is the Stormy Waves cowl. So I am going to show y'all how to make this today. So let's look at what we're gonna need to do this with. Okay, so for this video, you're going to need a J or 6mm crochet hook, some yarn, and I am using a Karen Big Donut Ogo. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to separate all of these colors and make like small cakes out of them, and then use them separately that way. You're also going to need a yarn needle, a pair of scissors, and you may want a stitch marker. If not, that is personal preference, but a stitch marker may come in handy here. Okay, now my Karen Ogo Big Donut yarn here is a 4-weight yarn, so you can use a 4-weight or a 5-weight. It's up to you. The multiple can be adjusted to whatever you want to use. So I have all of my yarn here caked up, so let's get started. I'm gonna move these out of the way over here to the side, and I'm gonna start with my white yarn. Now, so the multiple for this cowl is a multiple of 10. So you will chain 10 for as long as you want your chain, and then you will put it around and see if the circle's big enough that, you know, if that's the way the width of the circle for the cowl that you want. And then if it is, once you get enough chains to that width, you're going to take 2 chains away from the end. So you're just going to chain your multiple of 10 until you get the length of the chain that you need to make a circle, and then take away 2 chains at the end, and I will see you when I have my length of my chain. Okay, so I have chained my multiples of 10, and I chained 100, and then I took away 2 chains, so I have 98 chains. So now I'm going to follow my chain without twisting it all the way down to the very first chain that I started with. And I am going to slip stitch into that very first chain that I started with. Just slip stitch, just like that. Okay, and you form your ring. So now we're gonna chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet right back into that same chain that we slip stitched in. And then we're also going to single crochet into the next chain. Now, right here in that very first single crochet that you made, that is where you might want to put a stitch marker just to hold there so that you know where you're ending, where you're gonna be joining into, because we're gonna be joining each round with a slip stitch. So the next stitch, you're gonna half double crochet, and if you need any extra help with any of these stitches, you're welcome to check out my videos on your basic starter stitches. I'll link that playlist below. And you're gonna half double in the next stitch. And then double crochet into the next. And double crochet into the next. Half double crochet into the next. Half double crochet into the next. Single crochet into the next. And then single crochet into the next. And that's pretty much the repeat. So what you should have is, we single crocheted into the chain, the first chain that we slip stitched into. All right, then we single crocheted into the next chain. Then we half double crocheted into the next two. We double crocheted into the next two. And then we half doubled into the next two and singled into the next two. So that you should have 10 stitches so far. Okay, so now here starts the repeat. You're going to half double crochet into the next two. Double crochet into the next two. Half double crochet into the next two. Then single crochet into the next two. And you can see that your little wave is starting to form. And you're gonna do this all the way around your ring until you get back to where we started. And your last two stitches over here on this side are going to be 2 half double crochets. So continue this on until you get all the way around, and I'll meet you back around here for the join. Okay, now I have completed all the way around my ring. Now I am going to take out that stitch marker there, and I am going to slip stitch into that single crochet, that first single crochet of the round there, to join that around, to join those together. Okay, Now from here, for row 2 or round 2, we're going to chain 1, and back in that same stitch, we're going to single crochet again. And then we're just going to repeat row 1 all over again. We're just going to put start with the 2 single crochets there, then do 2 half double crochets on top of the half double crochets, 2 double crochets on top of the 2 double crochets, 2 half double crochets on top of the half double crochets, and then 2 singles on top of the 2 single crochets. And then you'll have a full wave. So you can put your stitch marker back in your first stitch so that you know where you started your round, if you want, if you're using one. But you're just going to continue around in this round, just putting the same back into, doing the same thing as we did on row 1 again on row 2. And I will meet you back at the join. Okay, so I have made it back around to where I will join. So I'm going to join to the first single crochet with a slip stitch, just like that. But this time I'm going to cut my yarn, leaving a long enough tail to sew in later, and I'm going to sit that to the side and then tie this off, because we're going to change colors here. Okay, so I'm going to do this brownish color next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook, well, Lord, it ain't wanting to work with me. Okay, so, and then I'm going to take that off of my hook. I'm going to get my work, and where I joined with that slip stitch, I'm going to stick my hook in that first stitch, and then I'm going to put my slip knot back on my hook and tighten it down, and I'm going to pull it up through there, and I'm going to give it a chain. Okay, I'm going to chain one more, and that is going to count as a chain 2, but we're not counting it as a stitch. So we're going to go back in this same stitch and do a double crochet, then in the next stitch we're going to do another double crochet. So we have 2 double crochets there, and we're ignoring this chain 2. Okay, all right, then we're going to half double crochet in the next 2, then on top of these 2 doubles here, we're going to single crochet on top of those. So 2 single crochets. so you have like a half a wave here. Okay, then we're going to half double in the next two. And double crochet in the next two. Half double crochet in the next two. Then single crochet in the next two. So basically what you have here is where you had a single crochet at on the previous row, you're going to be putting double crochets into those. Where you had half double crochets, you're just going to half double crochet on top of those. And then where you had double crochets in the previous row, you're going to single crochet on top of those. So it's kind of opposite, so that the waves will, you know, coexist with one another. All right, so let's do it one more time. We're going to half double crochet in the next two on top of those two half doubles from the previous row. Then double crochet on top of those singles. Half doubles into the next two on top of those half doubles. Oops. Then single crochet in the next two on top of those doubles. And then you're just going to repeat that around. So go ahead and I will meet you at the join. And you can also put your stitch marker back in there. Just you don't have to here, because I mean there's a bigger difference in that join, but you can if you want to. But I'll see you back at the join. Now I am back around to the join area. So I'm going to take out my stitch marker. And I'm going to join to skip over that chain 2. We're just going to join straight to the top of that first double crochet that we did. Just like that. Oh. So you should be joined into the top of that first double crochet. All right. Then we're going to chain 2. And we're going to repeat that row again. So we're going to double crochet right back into that first stitch. And then double crochet into the second stitch. And then just repeat our pattern all the way around. Half double into the next. Half double into the next. And single into the next two. So you're just repeating the previous row all over again. And you can see that wave form in there. All right, so just go ahead and finish all the way around, repeating this row again, and I will meet you back at the join again. Okay, so I've made it back around. Again, I'm just going to skip over this chain 2, and I'm going to slip stitch directly into that double crochet, that first double crochet of the round. Okay, now here, again, I am going to fasten off and change colors. Now, you don't have to use as many colors as I'm using for mine. You can use just 2 colors and just strap it back and forth. I just chose to use the Ogo, and it had 5 colors in it. So, so I'm going to get my next color. I'm going to go to this lighter gray here. Again, I'm going to put a slip knot on my hook. And then I'm going to take that off. I'm going to go right in to the top of that stitch where we slip stitched and fastened off. And then I'm going to put the loop on my hook and pull it through. And then give it a chain 1. Now, we're going to be going back to the same pattern that we did on the first 2 rows, row 1 and row 2. So we're going to go into that first stitch and do a single crochet, and then into the second stitch and do a single crochet. And then here's where that stitch marker comes in handy again. So you can slip that stitch marker in that first single crochet so you'll know where your first stitch is. And you can weave in your ends as you go, or you can do it all at the end. That's up to you. But we're just going to now repeat rows 1 and 2 for rows 5 and 6. And then for after you do those, you're just alternating the first 4 rows. It's just a repeat of the first 4 rows every stripe. So you're just going to continue repeating the first 4 rows for the pattern until you get the cowl to be the width, height, whatever you want to call it, the height, I guess, you know, that you want it to be. And then I will catch up with you then. So I'm going to continue on doing my stripes until I reach, I just put the wrong stitch there. I'm going to continue on until I reach the width that I want. And I will see you when I have the width that I want. It'll probably be about 10 to 12 inches is what I'm shooting for. So I will see you when I have finished my stripes. Okay, so I just want to show what I have so far. I have not been weaving in my tails. I will weave them in at the end. But I have the first 5 sections of my stripes on my cowl. So I went from light to dark here, and you can tell the difference a little bit. The way that the light hits it, I think it's kind of making these two clash together, but you get the gist of how the wave, as you alternate those waves, how they sit on top of one another. So I just wanted to show you what I had so far. I'm probably going to do one more full thing of these 5 rows here, or these 5 waves, should I say, and then end in the white. All right, so I'll see you when I finish it. Okay, I have completed all of my wave stripes. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to take my dark gray, because I striped with opposite on each side. So I'm going to take the dark gray that I was using in the middle. I'm going to join right here where I left off. Not like that though. Stick my hook in. Pull it through. Chain one. Now I'm just going to go right back in that stitch and do a single crochet, and then I'm just going to single crochet all the way around just to give it a nice little edge in here. And I'm going to do this on the top and on the bottom side. So I'm going to go all the way around with my darker gray, and then I'm going to come, when I finish up top, I'm going to come down here on the bottom and go all the way around the bottom side. So meet me back here when I have finished with my edging rows. I just wanted to take a minute right here and make sure to let you know, when you finish your round all the way around, just make sure to join to your first single crochet with a slip stitch. Like that. And then you can fasten off and cut your yarn. Alright, so I have finished my edging row for the top and the bottom. So now all I need to do is take care of these ends. So to do that, I'm gonna get my needle and I'm just going to weave through some of these stitches. Forth a couple of times so that it doesn't come loose. I can snip that excess off of there, and that is how you do that. So I'm going to take care of the rest of all of these tails off camera, because I'm sure y'all don't want to sit here and watch me weave in all these tails. But yeah, so once you've woven in all of your tails, unless you worked over them, that's it. That is your Stormy Waves cowl. So there you go. So I hope y'all have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you do make this item, please let me know. You can show me a picture over on Instagram or in my Facebook group, and tag me in Instagram or in the Facebook group. But I'd love to see your pictures of what you make if you decide to make this. And if you are not subscribed to my channel, please make sure to subscribe so you don't miss future tutorials or videos that I put out. And thanks again. Have a good one.